What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Niall here, hoping you are well, because you know what? I know I am. So today I'm going to tell you a story about one of the many times my old neighbours went full insane asylum, walked around like it was their first day as a human, and just did not know how to act. So for a little bit of background information, these guys were hated by everyone on the street. They knew it, they just did not care. They were the typical English neighbours who just sit at home all day drinking while claiming they can't work because of some bullshit excuse like back pain or stress or some other crap they tell their job centre guy on the phone while cracking open a cold one with the boys and I'm only just leaving for work. They are the kind of people who wait outside the shop for it to open in the morning to buy their cheap ass beer while incoherently boasting it to you from across the street. They would stay up all night listening to this insane music that honestly sounds like a Turkish bazaar on steroids. Now, I'm a heavy sleeper, so normally it would not bother me in the slightest. I would just close my window, go to sleep and not deal with them during the day because just like every other sad sapper I know, I have to wake up and go to work. The only reason it did become an issue was when our good old friend the Rona crashed the joint, lockdown came into force and I was put on furlough. Now, for those of you who are not lucky enough to know what furlough is, it was the English government very generously thought they would pay up to 80% of everybody's wages on the taxpayer's expense. But don't get me wrong, I'm eternally grateful because it means me and my partner have been able to keep our flat and not be homeless. Anyway, this all started May-June time. I only remembered that because it was a few weeks after VE Day and everyone was getting annoyed at a separate neighbour for blasting out old World War II songs at midnight while parading up and down the street with a St. George's cross flying high like some goddamn Knights Templar wannabe. I know what you're thinking and you would be right. My street is like some acid-induced nightmare brought to life from the set of Balamory. Between the drugs, the alcoholics, and the 5'13" who think they're the next upcoming gangster like they're Al Capone resurrected, when in actual fact the most they do is freak out the odd person here and there who's walking home late, smoke their low-grade weed in the alleyway behind the shops, and beg everyone who walks past to buy them cigarettes. Now this day, surprise surprise, I was at home because it's 2020 and that's what life has come to. But yet again, all I could hear through my closed window and with my headphones on was their early 90s Euro house, which don't get me wrong, I love as much as the next guy, but I want to hear it on my own terms and not theirs. So, in my annoyance, I grab my guitar amp, put it on my windowsill facing their garden, ramp it up to 11 and blast out some music full volume, which in hindsight was not the most mature solution to the problem at hand, but it seemed to do the trick. In less than a minute, they packed down their speakers and went back inside. Feeling victorious, I took down my amp so I didn't annoy anyone else and carried on about my day. But to my dismay, less than 5 minutes later they took my silence as permission to come back outside and do it again. Now, at this point, I'm getting mad. Like, what the hell did they think I was doing? Showing off my amp like some overexcited child bringing in their goldfish for the fourth show and tell? No. I was trying to show my dominance the only way I knew how, short of taking a leak up their wall and ripping up their furniture. So the only thing I could do was yet again place my amp on the windowsill and yet again blast my music. But this time I was done playing nice, so as my music was playing, I decided that now would be a great time to take my dog for a walk. My dog is actually old as hell, so a walk for him would be to the closest lamppost and back so I can beg for more treats, curl back on the sofa and go to sleep. As I'm leaving the house, I see my neighbour walking down their drive and he has the audacity to come at me because he cannot hear his music over mine. But I just nod my head, agree with him and say yes, my music is awesome and carry on. As I get about halfway down my road, I can actually still hear my music and see it shaking windows and stuff. So at this point, I must admit, I'm caught midway between arrogant self-righteousness and genuine guilt for the neighbours who are getting caught in the crossfire of this pathetic feud. So I head back home and by the time I get into my room, my neighbours had gone back inside. This time it would seem for good. So I put my headphones on, load Steam back up and went back to Discord to forget all about it. It gets to maybe 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the evening and my family decide to go on our government mandated daily walk since it was quiet and there was little to no chance of bumping into anyone, and since we live by a lot of green space with lots of trails on it, we thought it'd be a nice evening walk. As we get back, maybe 2 to 3 hours later, we can smell smoke in the air, and as we turn onto our street, we can see a few police cars and a fire engine parked next door. Strangely unsurprised by this, I accept the fact and walk past when the nutbag husband breaks free of the police and starts screaming at us about how we called the police. This took us all by surprise as we literally hadn't even been home and had no idea what was going on, but before any of us could even respond, the police assured him that it was not us who called them and it could not have been because, as they could plainly see, we were not even home. I decided to hang back and have a smoke before going in so I could quench my curiosity, and it turned out they'd had a massive fire on their driveway and someone reported them. The officer was saying it's illegal to have a fire on their driveway as it opens up onto public land or something, but they were more than welcome to do it in their own garden. So whatever, I decided to go back inside and watch some Netflix. By the time I'd grabbed some primetime snacks and made my way upstairs, it was easily 10-15 minutes later. I go to the bathroom to take a leak, and in the mirror I see something weird reflected. Turning around to look out the window which overlooks the street, I see smoke rippling past the window. And at this point I am shocked because the police left like 15 minutes ago and here they were doing it again. So I decide to go outside and talk to them. When I get outside, there is this huge bonfire on their driveway and they've got like chairs and shit on the fire. Like no lie, this fire had to be at least 10 feet tall and they were all dancing around it like some tribesmen celebrating a mighty kill. I barely have time to take in the scene around me and a freaking empty beer bottle flies past my head and breaks on the wall next to me. Looking over, I see one of their friends there in straight up defiance of lockdown rules striding up to the dividing fence screaming about how I'm a snitch for calling the police. Ignoring the blood boiling in my veins, I try to remain calm and explain that it was not us who called the police, but they need to calm down before they do get called again. But he starts slurring and yelling over the bushes that separate our drives, and honestly, I'm trying not to laugh as this guy's forehead is beginning to look like Uncle Vernon from Harry Potter on the verge of having an aneurysm. Then out the corner of my eye, I see some other guy throw what I only assume is some form of spirit onto the flames, and it blows up like crazy. And at this point, other neighbours are coming out to see the commotion when an elderly lady pulls out her phone to only assume to call the police. Now, they must have only been round the corner because they were there in less than 5 minutes. And as quickly as the whole event had started, it was over and these guys get speared to the ground by the police and were being detained. At this, the dude's wife starts bawling her eyes out at her husband about how he can't be arrested because he didn't mean to do any of it and he's not in a good place. Like, if you're going to pull the sad wife card, at least make up a good story to get him off the hook. But anyway, they all get thrown in the back of the police cars and then a few of us help put out the fire. And I wish it actually ended there, but they came back the next day and carried on being arsehole neighbours, but oh well, what are you going to do? I'm sure they have given me many more stories to tell on this platform. So if you enjoyed this story, I will hopefully tell some more in the future. Give a like and subscribe. See you next time. Take care.